Good morning, pregame crew. It is Monday, September 26, 2022, 6:21 a.m. Mountain Time, 6:21 a.m. 8:21 a.m. Eastern. Good morning. You're at the pregame show, and I'm Lori, Chart Gal Lori, that is, and I'm going to help guide you through the pre-market action, what happened overnight, what could happen, and we're just going to have a roadmap for the day. We're going to develop a plan. If I could get an audio visual check, please. I'm going to say hello to my friends and do a few chart requests. And when this says 6:30 down here in this far right corner, I will attempt to promptly start the review of the indices, crypto, commodities, and movers and shakers of the day. My goal is to give you ideas for trading. I give you the fishing holes that I'm watching, and you bring the fishing pole. Good morning, Greg. Andre, Luciano. Hey, ER. Night Truck, how are ya? Hi, Andre, Alnick, Carlos, Sam, Matthew, Casey, Eli, Mal, Jason, Basque, Paul White. Good morning, good morning. Thank you, Night Truck, appreciate you. Hey, Mike, Trader, Satoshi, Jim, Adam, Tosh, Shane, and Topher. Awesome, Daniel, thank you. Well, weren't y'all some lucky ducks Friday to have Dan in here doing the pregame show? I had an interview with Mr. Dale Pinkert. If you want to check out that interview, you can check it out here at Chart Gal Lori on Twitter, and I copied and pasted it there. I had an interview with Dale Pinkert. He has approximately 40 years of trading experience. So cool to talk to someone so knowledgeable. So if you want to check that out, there it is. Let me go back. Hi, Adam. Thank you. Best wishes to you. Hey, Scott. Hey, Bennett, OD, Frank, yo. Okay, you want to look at Bitcoin NASDAQ? So I typed it up already. Here, ER, you're a TCG member. You get special treatment. Yep, we play favorites in here. So we have an hourly uptrend on Bitcoin NASDAQ, which means Bitcoin is stronger than NASDAQ. And you look at this chart. If I could buy and flip this chart, I guess I can if I want to go long Bitcoin. But this would be a chart that I would say would be a great candidate for the swing report. Look at this. We're on a 4-hour time frame. Oh, let me change my color of my pen. We have a squeeze down here. We're holding 50 RSI, and we have that trampoline effect that I love. We're holding the 4-hour EMAs. Of course, larger time frames are definitely more important here. And on the daily, we marginally got a daily higher high, higher low. We haven't changed the trend yet. I mean, you could argue it. It's kind of messy up in here, but let's just call it a double top for now. So on the daily, it doesn't have that strength, but on the shorter term time frame, 4-hour, that's a good looking chart. Bitcoin definitely has the upper hand here, and it's pretty easy to see. If you don't understand ratio charts, that's okay. It took me a while to catch on to them as well. Bitcoin is up 0.69%, let's say 0.7%, and ES is down 0.6%, and NASDAQ is down 0.43%. Bitcoin's green, indices red. Pretty simple. Crypto is stronger. And nothing has to make sense in trading. And the more that you try to make it make sense in some respects, fundamentally, that's when you'll go straight to the cuckoo farm. And it's a short drive for most of us to the cuckoo farm. So the best thing to do is just let go of the whys and just focus on technical price action. So Bitcoin is stronger right now. Good looking chart. Now I'll go over some nuances that I picked up on things that I monitor. Just it may help. I don't know. Hi, Frank, OD, Francisco. Hey, Roger. Now let me go back. Did I miss any other chart requests? I know, Matthew, right? King Dollar is decimating everyone. And we'll go over the British pound and what happened overnight. Again, I told you on Friday, I'm not a currency expert. I know enough, as my mom would say, just to be dangerous, but the dollar has definitely impacted other foreign currencies. And if you are in Britain, your currency got hit pretty hard overnight. Now it has a pretty good bounce going. I guess we can look at it right now. Because I'm not gleaning anything from this for the markets today, so I guess I don't need to cover it during the regular show. 1 second and I'll get there, I promise. Okay, maybe I won't. I lied. Try again. Right here. So at 7 o'clock last night, I'm hovering, so if you look down here, it'll show you the time. So at 7 o'clock last night, we halted on the British pound. It didn't open back up. This is a 1 minute chart till 9:02. So we halted for 1 minute. And market makers have to halt when they can't keep up with the price action. The sells are just coming in too fast. They can't keep an orderly market and they have to slow it down. That's why we have halts. So the dollar strength and that pop up last night here, you can see where it hit its high at 7 o'clock last night is where the pound hit its low. So really impacting foreign currencies. King dollar is, we say price action is king, queen, prince, and princess. I'll tell you right now, the dollar is king, queen, prince, and princess. That and the US 10-year are driving these markets, and they're driving them in a bad way, not in a good way, in an inverse relationship. ER, you're at the cuckoo farm already? ES is taking off. I'm looking at it on another screen. If anybody has any chart requests, I have probably time for one more chart request. And I attempt to take my time with whatever you ask me. And remember, if you're asking me about an altcoin or a metals or whatever it may be, the technical components, back burner trades, lower highs, higher lows, cup and handles, they're applicable to all charts. So don't tune out just if it's a indicator, or excuse me, a ticker that you're not interested in. I would still stay tuned in because we can still kind of dissect the technical analysis together and learn. All right. And we have lots of Fed speakers this week. They're talking everywhere. So just stay agile. And when we have a lot of geopolitical events like we have happening now, like Italy overnight, new prime minister, I believe I said that right. Real big change in guard in Italy. There's just a lot of things going on. So I like to size down in that scenario. All right, UNG. So nat gas, we got this daily and 2-day. It actually looked a lot better on the 2-day. The head and shoulders, we got the follow through. But when we zoom out for nat gas, we're still in a monthly uptrend. So in TCG, we have a back burner strategy. We have a regular back burner strategy for names we're looking to go long on. We have a reverse back burner trade strategy that we're looking for potential top fish to go short on. So with nat gas, we have room for a monthly high or low, plenty of room for it. Now this is not a candle you want to take home to mom. It's an ugly looking candle forming on the monthly and it has 4 days left to close. But we are looking for a monthly high or low relative to 1828 on UNG. Where do we scout that in the back burner world? With daily oversold. So if we go look at nat gas is closer to daily oversold than UNG is. So I like to watch the futures. That's definitely my point of reference. I stay there, and it's by how I judge the other charts is by that the chart that I calibrate to. I'm trying to think of the right word. But overall, I'm looking at this 200 MA on nat gas. In this case for UNG is at 2212, this purple line. And I'm looking for daily oversold. And that's where I want to begin to scout a monthly high or low by I can use the hourly for a trend change or the 4-hour. I actually went long here this morning let me give you my entry. I went long at 6825, and that is on NGX. So I'm doing this one, NGX. The volume shifted this morning on nat gas to the November contract. So I went long on this little 2-minute trend change back here at 6825, right above the 6824. When it cleared it, I went long on nat gas. So we're oversold on the 4-hour. We're not quite oversold on the daily, so I'm front running it a little bit. But let me show you something. This isn't time to go over nat gas, but since we're already at the 8:31 mark, let's get started with the show. And I'm starting with nat gas, then I'll do the formal introductions. I want to show you something pretty cool. Let's see if it's still there. I don't trade based on RSI patterns alone, but but I do make note of them. Now this right shoulder was getting in scary land for me over here, saying this really isn't bull divergence. This is looking a little more bearish. This shoulder over here is looking a little too droopy. So now let's look at it from a divergence perspective. RSI was making higher lows on the 4 hour while price was making lower lows. I love those bull divergences, and then I zoom into low time frame, in this case a very low time frame, the 2 minute, and I say, okay, if I can get a 2 minute higher high, I'll take a bite at it, because then my stop is right below 677, pretty close by. So this is a high risk counter trend trade, but that's what I'm in right now. Lewis, that it derived is a proper word for what you're thinking. I was thinking of something else. You know how you have a benchmark and you say, okay, like a level, and you set it to 0, or however you calibrate it. And so you're constantly going back to that original one. So derive is definitely a proper word for futures when you go from futures to spot. But I was looking for just a different, more technical term. So, but thank you for that. All right, let's get started. This is who I am. I'm Chart Gal Lori. I'm part of the Chart Guys community, and we teach technical analysis. If you want to give me a follow on Twitter at Chart Gal Lori, I would greatly appreciate it. And I tweet out more technical information than I do funnies, but I do like to have a little fun on Twitter. All right, so ES, reverse back burner. So if you're looking for what a reverse back burner is, let me show you. So this morning I posted, we have a video on it on the general YouTube, by the way, back burner trade strategy. So this morning, 5 minute overbought in a downtrend on larger time frames, reverse back burner worked overnight, led to almost a 50-point down move on ES. And when I mention the reverse back burner strategy, this is what I mean spelled out. The reverse strategy can work as well. After a huge move down, outsized move down, which we've had, traders can use overbought bounces to scout areas for lower highs. So the 5 minute overbought you could use to scout an hourly lower high. 15 minute overbought you could use to scout a 4 hour lower high, and so on. So we're in a downtrend over here. We're in a clear downtrend. And then the 5 minute got overbought here. Right here at 1:30 this morning, my time. And then it led to a 50-point down move. So today, now I switched to the 15 minute. So now I want, tell me when RSI is overbought. And I do 67 usually. I want to make sure if I'm looking for that short that it's not getting front run, and I want to have my order set up, evaluate the dollar, US 10-year before I take that long. So that worked this morning. 5 minute overbought is your friend. 15 minute overbought is your friend in a downtrend. And also, excuse me, stair steps. Sorry about that. Stair steps are your friend. When you have these huge moves to the downside, in this case, look here, you could, okay, the low of the next candle is not taking out the high of the prior candle, not taking it out, not taking it out, not taking it out, not taking it out. When it does, that's a signal for a potential long. Stair steps and overbought conditions on the 5 and 15 minute, or they are your friends in this downtrend world that we live in. What's that Stranger Things, the upside down world? I feel like we're in an upside down world in the market, and we have been since January. All right, so on ES, let's get our bearings on a higher time frame. Let me pull up my notes. I have notes on the other screen, and when I'm done, I copy and paste those over to TCG so our Chart Guys members can slice and dice them as they see fit. So the dollar is the story. I used to, growing up, everyone, Lori, what's the story? So I'm here to give you the story. Maybe we should name the pregame show to Lori, what's the story? Well, the story is King Dollar rocketed last night out the gate, and the dollar is causing major headwinds, not just for all other foreign currencies, but also for market equities. So SPY needs the dollar to sit down. We need US 10-year to sit down. Look at that US 10-year, 2.49%, wreaking havoc on the bond market. Look at this. The US 10-year and the dollar, look, It's terrible. We need TLT to find a bottom. We need dollar to find a top and US 10-year to find a top in order for equities to get that tailwind we've been waiting for. We got major headwinds going on, and the Fed speakers, I mean, yesterday Bostic was saying he's trying to avoid very, very deep pain or something like that on the landing for the U.S. Economy. Just some really strong adverbs and adjectives in there that really kind of shock the market a little bit. And the dollar strength is out of control. And you think, man, why didn't you give us that as a trade? If you don't trade futures, look at this up move, UUP, it's up, but it is boring as all get out. It looks like a huge move, 8%. Since August, so I guess that is a good move, but it moves so slow compared to futures and forex. It puts me to sleep. That's one name I've never been able to successfully trade because it's just so boring. But that's the proxy for the dollar. If you can't trade the dollar, you can trade UUP. That's dollar long. But we're getting close to a blow off top. I'm not going to call it. I'm not going to say, yep, this is it. This is the blow off top, but we're getting close. Our monthly RSI is at 80, 80.80. So we are getting extended, and RSIs can get extended, more extended when we have news involved. And I would say that this move is definitely news driven. So RSI is not as important. So let's look at the US 10-year. I mentioned it and I just kind of glossed over it. Let me see, is this a 2-hour cup and handle maybe? Yeah, potential 2-hour cup and handle on the US 10-year. Market bulls do not want to see this break to the upside above 3829. Your support 3745, 3731. Let's go look at our friend ES hourly. We have multiple hourly inside bars that just broke bull, but a lower high is still favored compared to 3718. Let me see if this looks better on the 6-hour. Sorry about that. Misclick. Yeah, this is even weak bear flag. It can't even get the proper dog leg up. I call this a dog leg when you have that little bear flag action. We have a little float up. We're not even floating up. The reason it made me go look for a bear flag on a higher time frame, if you're a TCG member, you know this. When we get hourly higher highs without a lot of follow through, then we zoom out and look for bear flags on higher time frames. Your key support 367150, the low of overnight, and Friday's low 3660. I would say this is a major feat for the bulls that they pulled off this morning and overnight for that matter, in that they are holding Friday's low. That's pretty impressive. We're red, yep, but they're holding Friday's low. And this is the low. And you really need to go to the futures chart to get that low, because SPY had a dividend between June low and now it had a dividend. So I would look at the futures chart to find or ascertain that low. And of our Fab 4 indices, ES is holding that June 17th low. NASDAQ is holding it. It actually made it on June 16th. It's holding that low. Let me put on the weekly. You can see a little more clearly. Holding that weekly low. RTY holding that weekly low. But guess who isn't? The Dow. The Dow broke the week of June 13th low. It broke it last Friday. Now it opened up above it, so it hasn't broken the 29315 Friday's low, but it did break June's low. So of our Fab 4 indices, the question is let me write that out. Is Dow a canary for rest of indices for its sisters? Or is Bitcoin relative strength on shorter term time frames the canary? And we'll get that answered today. Actually, we will get that answered and probably no later than tomorrow. The Dow is a lesser component on SPY, our big mother indices. So let me get more water. But I would say of those two things, I think Bitcoin is really a decent heads up because it correlates to NASDAQ a little more. And then we have the dollar, which I've been beating, US 10-year and tilt. We need this one to top out. We need this one to top out. Sounds like I'm saying tap out. We need this one to find a bottom. So those are 5 moving parts for me this morning. When I look at the roadmap, those are my 5 big moving parts. And then I would say the 6th and final one on the macro picture, if I'm looking at all the moving pieces that's going to put this puzzle together, Apple needs to hold its double bottom. So even though you're not getting the notes, if you're not a TCG member, you can screenshot that and then just write those down and try to piece it together if it works within your trading strategy. If those components do not fit into your trading strategy, then let it go. Like Elsa said, let it go. Is that Elsa? I think so. Okay, so here on the Dow, we lost the June low, but it's important. Friday's low is now the important low for all of our Fab 4 indices. So NASDAQ, did I give you resistance 11,409.25 and support 11,279, 11,256? RTY resistance 1691, support 1664 and 1662. So our tattoo for the day, if you have to leave with one sentence of importance today, your tattoo is Friday's low must hold on whatever name you're looking at in order for any type of bottom fish to work. You need Friday's low to hold or look out below. Hold Friday's low or look out below. That's a really long tattoo. I'm sure we could work on it. We could massage that a bit. All right, RTY, I gave you the levels. YM, resistance 29736. VIX, you're welcome. Again, I promise that I don't hold myself out to be a macro expert. I went to SEC college, got a couple business degrees, but I mean, it's Louisiana. What can I say? But I know enough just to piece it together, and I know how to look at charts. I know price action and I know technical analysis. That I know for sure. And I know enough of these loose correlations to kind of help you. But look at the ZB for bonds, Bennett. If you want to look at bonds and TLT, these two move hand in hand. Look at this chart. It is horrific. We have an inside bar. We're holding Friday's low. And that's what the markets want to see, is for bonds to find a bottom. I forget the number, and there's going to be a smarty pants in the room that knows the number, but the bond market is like 90% larger than the equities market, than stock market. The bond market is way bigger. We're like tiny fish in the ocean compared to the bond market. So the bond market is really driving the bus here, and we need the bond market to find a low, i.e. TLT to find a low, i.e. US 10-year to find a top, i.e. Dixie find a top. So if you want to rewind that and go a little slower, maybe that'll work. But that's how I understand the correlations to work. All right, back to VIX. VIX, we're up 7% overnight. We're giving up a little bit here, but this is the hourly uptrend, holding hourly EMAs. No problem here. No problem here. We need VIX to sit down. If we go back, what chart were we on when we were typing all that? Here. So let's add to that list. We need VIX to top out, please, for market bulls. It needs to sit down. It needs to sit down, and it's not showing any sign of sitting down. There's a lot of fear in there in the market. It's measured by the VIX, and a lot of people just buy VIX for a hedge. So then you're like, okay, is there a lot of fear, or is there just a lot of people who haven't capitulated and they're buying this VIX as a hedge for their holdings? And but there's still a measurement of fear. If you're buying a hedge, then you're fearful the market's going to drop. So either way, it's an accurate measurement. All right, so we looked at VIX, hourly uptrend. As long as these EMAs are below you, bulls are in charge. Hang Seng down 0.44%. This is pretty key. DAX has gone green. So when I looked at it earlier this morning, it was down like 0.2%, and now it has turned green. So that may be relative today. Let's see. We're still looking for hourly lower high, just like we are on our indices. So it may not turn out to be any type of canary here. Bitcoin, nice hourly move, enough room for hourly higher low. But what happened? We gave back about 80% of the move from 1 a.m. Mountain Time to 3 a.m. Mountain Time. We've already given up 85% of the move. So where are bears going to be waiting? Right here. They're going to wait for that hourly lower high because you retrace too much. So as soon as Bitcoin feeds us a little hopium, then it takes it right back. These bulls are wasting so much buying power for pushes that don't have follow through. So if you think about that, it really makes sense. If you want to, I was going to give you a Macy's example of like buying dresses, but that's a poor example. I have to think of something. I am very thirsty this morning. So Bitcoin bulls are using up a lot of buying power, and then they're stuck. So they were buying it up here at 19,200. They were buying up here, and now price is down at 18,962, and they got no more money to buy. You know, they're running out of their buying power trying to fight off these bears. And I shared earlier, this 4-hour 50 MA is like an electric fence. The Great Wall of Louisiana on the 4-hour for Bitcoin has been nuking price for a while now. And then look at RSI, the 50 RSI. It bobbled over it just a little bit, but no real close over the 50 RSI or the 50 MA on the 4-hour. So Bitcoin bulls definitely look better than the indices, but they still have, as my grandpa would say, they still got a long road to hoe. Ethereum, you have resistance at 1325, 1337, 1349. You have support 1278, 1269. 4-hour 50 RSI nuking price, and odds favor a 4-hour lower high compared to 1337. So odds favor 4-hour lower high compared to 1337. We're still trapped below the 4-hour EMAs. On the hourly, that retrace is not as bad as Bitcoin. About 75%, but we're still looking for hourly lower high on the next bounce. So if you are a crypto bear, you're looking to top fish. I would top fish Bitcoin over Ethereum because it's a little bit weaker. The retrace was deeper. Gold is waiting for dollar to sit the heck down. Look at this. Daily, we're at 29.80. On the monthly, we hit the 50 MA at 1646. This is a boomer indicator, and gold is a boomer chart. A lot of boomers trade it. I may be a boomer. We don't know. I fight it. I fight the label tooth and nail. But we're at the monthly 50 MA. We have an hourly uptrend. It doesn't have a ton of follow through, and this is happening on abysmal bull volume. This is total apathy. I'm not buying what you're selling, and look at where we're up against. The 50 RSI, potential 4-hour bear flag. And you can see those bear flags on the hourly time frame. So you can see a 4-hour bear flag forming on the hourly time frame when you have these tiny higher highs without a lot of follow through. Bearish, folks. I like that it's on that monthly 50 MA, but I got to get some friends with me on the trade. Looks like I'm close to getting stopped out of nat gas. Haven't been stopped out yet, but close. All right. Oil. And I won't try again because I don't want to start my day with a day loser. It would just be a partial day loser, but I want to make things settle down. Obviously, I'm front running this nat gas bottom fish if I get stopped out, and I just need to slow my wheels. All right, oil. We are still looking for a monthly higher low, which is my thesis on nat gas. We're still looking for a nat gas monthly higher low. So I'm zooming into lower time frames to say, where does she stop? So 7886 is your resistance. We're getting over that now. Then your next resistance is $80. Hourly EMAs are still overhead, but if we could clear $80, we're closer to getting there. Then the bulls have a lot of work to do. We need tilt to find TLT. We need bonds to find a bottom to help the market. And of course, it's never 1-to-1. But if TLT could find a bounce, that should help the market because then the bond market's stabilizing. I'm a KA boomer. Oh, kaboomer. I'll take it, Trey. I'll take it. Oh, Trey, there is a TikTok that's viral. You know you visited Louisiana if, and it was like, you see a big rat and you're like, what? What did you say? A nutria rat? But isn't it nutria? No, no, it's Nutrirat, but it's Nutria. But you say it Nutrirat, like, oh, okay, I'm confused. Or you go shopping, like that's a shopping cart, right? No, it's a buggy. Anyway, if you're from Louisiana, you found that very funny. There's my baby girl. Hey, sweet pea. Hey, slow devil, how's life? Thank you. Very, very good. Hey, Dano-mite. All right. So nat gas I covered at the very, very beginning. I'm looking for a monthly high or low, and I'm watching this 4-hour bull divergence and inverse head and shoulder on RSI for potential bottom fish, and I waited for the 2-minute over here to change the trend. My stop is below the low of day. And I was showing you the levels on the nat gas November contract NGX here. So it's not looking great for the bulls here. Bear volume is picking up. And I think the pit opens in 9 minutes. Apple. Oh, how important Apple is. 148.56 is Friday's low, and 148.37 daily double bottom needs to hold. So I like a bottom fish of Apple. Let me go to my notes. Daily double bottom, aggressive bulls looking for potential longs against that support. So it's definitely weaker than names like Nvidia and other names I'm going to throw out at you. But I still like it as long as we're holding that daily double bottom, because the risk to reward, you'd stop out fast if you're wrong. Amazon. Amazon, caution on longs with the gap just below us. If you've been here a while, especially for the last few weeks, you know how I have been preaching against this big gap below and how it just scared the bejesus out of me as a bull. Well, we still got a gap down here. I want to see it filled before I go long. Amazon, that's at 111.18. And there are other gaps. Trust me, there are other gaps, and I'll show you more in Tesla. But when it's just so close by, you know bears like to target it. So I want to wait till the bears are done. They throw the carcass on the side of the road, and then I'll try to be a bull. So on Amazon, I'm not interested long. Hourly EMAs are overhead. Nvidia is a little bit stronger than the rest. It's holding up. Hourly 21 EMA is still overhead. It has room for potential hourly higher low compared to Friday's low. So Friday's low is 12257. I like a bottom fish attempt of it, and you'll see why in just a second. Tesla. Speaking of gaps, I just want to remind you we have a gap down here at 250.66, and look at all these gaps below. I did this exercise earlier this morning. So all of these light gray numbers are daily gaps below. Do I think 1448 is going to get filled on Tesla? No. If so, I would go all in and borrow all the money. I wouldn't go borrow all the money I could, but I'd take all the money I have, and I would be buying a lot of Tesla if it were to get that low. Something crazy would have to happen, like God forbid something happened to Elon for it to have that type of crash. But 250.66 is a gap below that I am watching intently. Tesla is way weaker than the rest of the crowd. Now it looks like it's reclaimed Friday's low, 27282, just barely. But in this case, I want 5-minute overboughts to top fish. So let's go set an alert. Tell me when. RSI, and I'll just do 67 again so I can set up the trade if I want it. And tell me when 15-minute gets overbought. And then I want a short. There was an alert right there. So NQ is getting, okay, so NQ just hit 68. Let's go see if that's a trade set up. So I like a top fish of 11,409.25 if we can get a 2-minute little trend change to the downside with some elevated bear volume. Otherwise, I'd let this play out. So that was a really important lesson right there on reverse back burner. I get the notification 2 points before 70 RSI, and I go assess the situation. What's going on now? That alert doesn't mean I'm going to take that trade, but this is a decent risk to reward setup. Say that 100 times fast. With looking for a top fishing is 11,409.25 on the hourly or on the 30-minute against, well, that is right, 11,409.25. Looking for that 30-minute lower high, and I'd wait for the 2-minute chart to change. Now we have some bear volume coming in, and I want a trend change up here. And then I'd put my stop above that lower high. In trading, we get this angst. I know I do, and it's something I still fight to get in that trade when you're looking for a trade setup. Just remind yourself over and over and over and over and over and over. You have plenty of time. We have way more time on our side to get a good location than we think typically. Not all the time, but typically. When we're waiting for this to develop, let's wait for a confirmation there. Okay, back to Tesla. Fresh Pet. Okay, I'm going to go a little faster. 4 minutes till Dan starts talking. So Fresh Pet had some takeover chatter on Thursday. This chart looks very nice. I would be looking for hourly higher low compared to 43.96, the low of Friday, or 43.80, the after hours low. So I wanted to go find a long that you could possibly take. Generac hurricane trade. Lord be with, or whatever deity you pray to, please be with the people in Florida and let everything turn out okay. I'm not trying to benefit from people who could get hurt from a hurricane, but there is such a thing as a hurricane trade. And our next support below us, that 173.80, we broke that. It's 140.73. We don't have a lot of support below us, below Friday's low, but we have enough room for hourly higher low. I would say compared to 171.70 for a pullback buy. Home Depot, same thing. High risk trade. I like a pullback buy either to 26632 or yep, that is the level I would use for a pullback buy on Home Depot for a hurricane trade. MU has earnings this week and it has relative strength. And I told you I'd tell you later. That's why I like Nvidia for a potential long. And I think Nvidia has some relative strength this morning because of brother Micron holding up really well, and they have earnings Thursday, I believe. Yeah, Thursday pre-market. So I like MU for a potential long and XBEV. I should never say all of the EV names that I looked at were relatively strong Friday. So I would look for XBEV long for a potential pullback to the hourly EMAs. And that's it. So these are all my names that I normally watch. I usually don't put them on the list for you to see. Don't want to confuse you, but I have some regulars that I'll watch, and I'm definitely watching ASAN. I want it to fill this gap at 1916. You see that little orange triangle there? That will tell me when this gap is filled, and then I want to watch it for a long, and I'll look at a shorter term time frame for a potential long. Y'all are funny. Homebody, you're cute. I'm going to do Sava and then I'm going to wrap it up. 2 minutes till Dan. Daily inside bar on Friday. That will tell us a lot. That was a pretty big pullback of 18%. It was a big pump. And now bears are waiting for a pop to short because lower highs are anticipated on lots of time frames. I don't really trade targets. And I know that drives people absolutely nuts. But if I'm trading NG long, this is the last question, and I got to stop. My throat's hurting. So if I'm trading NG long, I will look for like the 21 EMA touch for an exit and then a partial exit and then do another pullback buy. So I like to use synthetic targets like Fibonacci's or EMAs for my exits. All right, that's it for me. Y'all have a wonderful day. Love y'all so much. Thanks for being here. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Go give me a follow on Twitter at CharkOutLori and use stop losses. And let's say it with me. As long as the hourly EMAs are overhead, the bears are in charge of your chart.